I want to record because I want to share it on my YouTube channel, actually. Okay. So you already know I'm Mimi, or my name is Miranda, and I go by Mimi. And I am the founder of Scrum Queens on Facebook, Women in Scrum Empowerment, Why Scrum Queens. And we do have a WhatsApp group that we hang there, and it is from our WhatsApp group and all over. Maybe I put the link to this session on my WhatsApp status, on our Facebook group, and even on or in our WhatsApp group as well. So I guess everyone that comes across the link will watch, whether they are in Scrum, whether they're in project management, whether they're in Agile or IT field or something, or they are considering switching, whatever the case may be, everyone is welcome to be here. So welcome everyone to be here. Those of you who are already here, and those of you who would be joining us later, I say welcome to you all. And those of you who are going to be watching, maybe after when I post it on my YouTube channel, because I'm definitely going to post it on my YouTube channel. Some of you whose names are showing two names, if you would like, because of privacy concerns, if you don't mind, you can just put one of your name since it's going to be out there. But the good thing is your picture is not showing, and there are so many people. If you can just put your name as maybe Brown, just one name, Eva, so that it's even okay. It's okay. What's bad in it? There's nothing bad in it. So welcome again once more. So today we are talking, I did not change the topic in our WhatsApp group. I'm sorry. Somebody can just help me if you're in the WhatsApp group. Just help me go to the WhatsApp group and write that. And write that we are going to be talking on how to get a Scrum job with no experience. How to get a Scrum job with no experience. So the first thing you want to do to get a Scrum job is to get the Scrum certificate. Can somebody who is talking help me mute themselves so that we don't become a child of God? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for muting yourself so that we don't talk over each other and we are in sync with each other. Okay, thank you. So the first thing to do would be to get your Scrum certification or certificate, either from Scrum Alliance or scrum.org. Okay, I got mine from Scrum Alliance after doing a lot of research, and I realized why I went the route of Scrum Alliance was because I realized, remember, this is just an introduction, then I'll start giving you the points. When I get to the points, I'll tell you point number one, this is what you do, okay, to get the Scrum job with no experience. So I got my certificate from Scrum Alliance because I did a lot of research on the internet, which was the best route to go. And from my findings, I was able to understand that, or I understood that most companies would want you to get the Scrum Alliance certificate because the trust in it more, because they know that you have taken the 2 days classes with the Scrum Alliance. So you actually know what Scrum is all about, because there are a lot of catfish Scrum masters out there where they've gotten, they've just paid $150 on scrum.org and they've taken their certificate and they get on the job and they cannot perform. But with Scrum Alliance, you must take their 2 days classes. I heard that it used to be 3 days before, and now they reduced it to 16 hours. I took mine for 2 days. The first day, 8 hours, the second day, 8 hours. And then at the end, I took it on a Monday, Tuesday, and then on a Wednesday, if you don't mind, mute yourself, thank you. On a Wednesday, I studied, I had to read over the notes that I made during that. Okay, so sorry about that. When I have a disturbance or a noise in the background, it distracts me a lot. So I studied by myself on Wednesday, just went through it all, read it all over again, just to make sure that I got it right. And then on Thursday, I took the exam with Scrum Alliance. And I think I paid $1,200. Yes, I paid $1,200. But before that, I had paid $3,500 to a guy who taught me. Then I paid an additional 1,200 just to get their 2-day class and get their certification. So whichever one works for you, as long as the thing is, as long as you can defend your certificate, you are good to go. Okay, so now let's get into it today. We are talking about how to get a Scrum Master job with no experience. The first thing, get your certificate. Like I said, if you don't know how to get it or where to get it, you can ask me, inbox me through any of the mediums, or through any of the mediums that you found this link to. You can write me through it and ask me, and I'll direct you how to go about getting it. And I also help people to take their PSM1 too, okay? Anyways, I help you pass. I help you pass the PSM1. Yeah, we study together and do question and answer review and stuff like that. Just inbox me if you want to know more with regards to taking your exam. Today, talking about getting a job with no experience. One thing we have to keep in mind is that the Scrum market is really saturated. Now, how do you bypass somebody who is in the job market with you? Companies are now realizing that there are a lot of Scrum masters that they employ, and then they get the job, but they cannot perform. Companies are realizing that. My husband is a recruiter in his company. He's one of the recruiters managing recruiters in his company, right? But he's a DevOps engineer as well. From the discussions that I have with him and other recruiters that I know, we can tell that, or it can be said that a lot of companies are now realizing that there are a lot of catfish Scrum masters out there, or people who are just transitioning into Scrum without the experience, without the background or the knowledge of what Scrum is all about, right? Just this last week, I've heard of 3 different stories already of Scrum masters who have been fired from their Scrum roles, and they've not made up to 6 weeks. One person made 90 days. Another person they just let that one be there for 90 days because of, you know, the laws, the rules, regulations, whatever it may be. And then another person made, I think, 4 months, and then another person did not even make up to a day in the thing. They just said, you are not who we spoke with over the phone for this interview. So apparently somebody took another person's interview, and then the person showed up. It was that person. They said, no, we cannot push forward. You are not the one we talked to, right? So a lot of these things are making companies to build a protective wall to preserve their company's interest, right? To protect rather their company's interest from fraudulence or scam Scrum masters, let me put it like that, or catfish Scrum masters. So now, how do you want to get a Scrum master job with no experience? The first thing, get the certificate. The second thing, you need to aim for entry-level positions. Aim for entry-level positions. Don't go for the top-level positions. That's one mistake that I did. Yes, that's one of the mistakes that I did. And to every one that I mentor, I tell them, when we are editing their resume, we make sure that we go from 2 to 4 years maximum for your resume. When I'm editing your resume, I tell you that if you want to get that job quick, this is how you have to do it. You have to make sure that your resume is in line with what your background is, so that your company is not gonna expect you to do a lot. They know that you have the experience, but when you begin to slap or stamp, let me use the word stamp 10 years experience on your resume, and then you're unable to defend that 10 years when they hire you, trust me, they're just waiting for that 90 days period to just create one small issue, and then they get rid of you. There are so many Scrum Masters that have gotten their first jobs, and within 90 days, they were unable to perform well, and the company let them go. And then they've gotten new jobs, and then they have learned from that first experience. And some are even having multiple jobs right now. Yes, I know that there are few Scrum Masters out there who have 2 Scrum Master jobs, right? It's just a matter of you being able to do what you can do, right? So the first thing you want to do is to aim for entry-level positions. Don't put too much experience on what you cannot do. Everyone that I mentor, I tell them, we don't want to put too much experience that will scare these people off. And there are so many companies out there that are looking for entry-level Scrum Master positions too. So many of them, right? I remember applying for a Scrum Master role, I think about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I got a job, but it's a contract, 3 months contract. So I'm still in the job market. Technically, I'm still applying while I'm working because I don't want the same mistake that I made in the previous one where I had to wait until my contract was over before I started applying. So I went a month without a job. So right now I'm already applying, although I just started, right? So you don't want a situation where you are competing with everyone's resume is 10 years, 5 years, 7 years, 6 years, 11 years, 10 years, like that. And then there are so many companies that are also transitioning into Scrum. You have to keep that in mind, that Scrum has become prevalent because of COVID. And there are companies out there that did not or we're not agile, let me put it like that, right? We're not doing Scrum, so they are transitioning. I have interviewed for a position, I'll not call the name of the company, but I've interviewed for a position where I ended up teaching them my role as a Scrum Master because they apparently were looking for a developer, and the should I say commercial, the job description they put out there was for a Scrum Master. It was only during the interview that the questions they were asking me, I answered the first one, tell me about yourself. I spoke about myself, I talk about my background, I talk about my experience, and then I talk about what I was bringing to the table. They were really impressed, you know. And then they asked me about the Scrum events, right? I talk about the Scrum events, really detailed, and explain it to them how it moves from one to the other. It was not until when they started asking me technical questions that I said, no, I'm not going to be stammering here. I have to tell them that these questions they're asking me are for the developers, and I'm not a developer, right? Then I had to explain to them the product owner's role and responsibility. I had to explain to them a Scrum Master's role and the responsibility, and then I ended with a developer's role and responsibility. And then one of the interviewers said, I think we are looking for a developer and not a Scrum Master. So you see, there are so many companies out there that do not even understand what Scrum is all about. They've just heard about this person who facilitates meetings, this person who makes work easier for the product owner and the developer or the team, this person who makes sure that things are progressing from one stage to another, this person who just a fixer, let me call it like that. There's this guard who watches us, this guide, right? I'm not sure about my pronunciation sound, but pardon me, I speak 5 different languages, and English is not my my mother's tongue, okay? My mother's tongue is Pidgin English. So pardon me if my pronunciations are not meeting with yours. It's just who I am. So,
let me take a shower now.
Many companies just feel like, you know, there is something we've heard that a Scrum Master can do this. So let's get one to come in our company, right? So because so many companies are transitioning or are creating Scrum positions, right? It is easier for you. It will be easier for you who is new to Scrum to make your resume and target entry-level positions. Yes, and with these entry-level positions, you can easily sell yourself. I have done an interview with a company, a big hospital company here in the US, one of the biggest. I think they were the third, actually. I had to research on them. They are the top third in the US. I did an interview with them where for a Scrum position, And till today, trust me, I'm still crying that I did not get that job because the pay was really good, really, really good. I think 160 for that position that I applied, 160,000 annual income. So if I had gotten it, I would have been happy. I would not need 2 jobs. And it was a permanent position too. So they did the first round interview, the second round, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. That's how they were moving me. Yes. The last one was with the director. And then in that meeting, the CEO had to show up. I was like, the director and myself, we were even surprised that he had to jump in that meeting. He said, oh, he heard that this Scrum Master is one that he has to meet. He just heard some people talking and he really wanted to see, because apparently it looks like I sold myself well, right? But at the end of the day, what I feel like happened, I would say a little bit, I don't know, it wasn't mine. I'll put it like that. It wasn't mine, because till date, they still send me jobs for me to apply. They are really still interested, and I'm still connected to everyone that interviewed me during that process. We are connected on LinkedIn, and it's like I'm working with them even, right? But I just say, whatever it is that happened, God made it happen for a reason, right? So you want to target jobs that are entry-level positions, because guess what? Everyone is putting their resume 10 years, 7 years and up, right? So make sure that your resume, you're targeting entry-level positions where you can be able to defend yourself. Don't put 10 years position, 10 years experience, and then they ask you a simple question like, oh, your stakeholders do not agree with the product, and yes, they keep complaining, your stakeholders keep complaining. What event that your team is not delivering on time, or are not delivering or adding value to the business? What event do you think that your stakeholder, what would you do in such a situation? Instead of telling them that, okay, the sprint review is a period where the stakeholders, the clients, the product owner, developers, they meet to talk about the product, to see if it has been done well, if it meets specification, and if it's definitely going to add value. And you are stammering when you have put 10 years on your resume. You have to be able to sell yourself. And then they will also ask you questions based on your experience. That's one thing we have to keep in mind. Recruiters ask you questions based on your experience. They know what level of questions to ask you. So some of you who have been interviewing and not getting the job, begin to think and not getting the job, know that it's because they have asked you questions that are based on your experience, and they expected you to give them answers based on that experience that you have. You cannot say that you're a project manager and you don't know what initiation stage is all about. You don't know what a software development life cycle is, or in a project and everything like that, right? You have to know it at your fingertip. You have to sit there in front of them. You sell yourself to the point where instead of 30 minutes, your interview is even going 45 minutes and everyone is happy. I've had to mentor people who got jobs, and they say, Mimi, they only did 2 rounds of interview and that was it, and I got the job. I say, yes, because I have taught you how to sell yourself. You speak with so much confidence. Help me mute yourself. Thank you. You speak with so much confidence, and then that will be another topic of another day, how to really answer interview questions with boldness in a way that will make the interviewers fall in love with you. You want to capture their mind. You want them to fall in love with you. The next thing would be, the second point would be to tailor your resume, which I made a video, I think an hour video on our Facebook group. Avery, go away. I know it's you, go away. That's my 3-year-old. I made an hour video on our YouTube, our LinkedIn, our Facebook, where I talk about targeting your resume, right? Or tailor your resume. When you get a Scrum job, or when you go on a job site or a job board, by the way, I'm creating a job board for Scrum, so be ready. It will be out soon, and I'll be sending it out for you ladies to apply for jobs. So keep an eye out. Please put me in your prayers. That's a new development or a new project that I'm working on. Okay, so you want to read a job description, and then you look at your resume. Don't just put your resume out there like that. You look at your resume, okay, they are looking for a Scrum Master who has software development life cycle experience or knowledge or something. You now go inside your resume, you see how you can feed in that software development, whatever it is that they are describing. You see how you can pick some of those words and fit them in your resume so that when they are reading the resume, it aligns with the job description. They say, this is the person we want. Don't do a one-size-fits-all resume target or job application where one resume will fit every job that you just apply like that. No. When you do that, I told this to one of the ladies that I'm mentoring, and she did it, and she's had already 3 interviews. She has had already 3 interviews from the just looking at the job description, and she's able to look at that job description and pick in some keywords from that job description and feed it in her resume. And then they are calling her for interviews, right? She already has 3 interviews scheduled for, no, 2 for this new week and then 1 for the other week coming up. So you want to tailor your resume, make sure that the job description is matching your resume. Don't just apply, don't do one size fit all. I know that's a lazy way of doing it. That day, that moment where you just tired, you say, let me just try my luck, whatever happens, happens, right? But if you really want to get that job, right, sit down there, look at the job description, make sure you pick out some keywords from the job description and put it in your resume. And put it in your resume, okay? And if you have 10 years of experience on your resume, meanwhile, you just got your Scrum certificate and you're trying to transition, take that 10 years off and look at that job. If they are looking for 3 years, they're looking for entry level, you put entry level. Don't apply for a job when they are looking for entry level, you have 10 years experience on your resume. It will scare them to hire you, because guess what? The entry level positions, they pay from, like, let me say 70 to 110, like that, or 60 to 110. And now you have 10 years experience. 10 years experience, they know that this one will be taking like 90 to 100 and say 40 or 150, right? So you want to put these small tips that I'm giving you out. It's what will give you that Scrum job that you're looking for. Maybe you have been missing out on it, but that's what is going to help you get that Scrum job that you've been looking for. The next thing will be highlight your transferable skills, right? Okay, now on my resume, I have professional summary. Underneath professional summary, I have highlighted skills. I am sure that some of you, your resume looks like that. You pick out the highlighted skills. You can put, say, minimum 5, but you can put all the way from 5 to like 8. You highlight those skills. You do a professional summary after your name, your phone number, everything. For those that have done resume editing, you put highlighted skills. On my resume, I have that highlighted skills. You put them out, right? And then highlighted skills are not, or it's not the same as your skills. Don't get me wrong. And then you go down on the bottom. After highlighted skills, you put your experience, right? Or you now put skills. Now, in the skills section, you can just put leadership, facilitating, MS. In MS, you put Word, Teams, and all the other stuff, PowerPoint and all the other stuff, and just list those ones. You're just listing them. But when it has to do with your highlighted skills, you're actually writing them out. If you write leadership, you give a time when you did a leadership, should I say a leadership, you perform a leadership skill, all printed out. You put leadership, you can bold it if you want to, and then by it, or you continue writing lead or led Scrum, daily Scrum, sprint events, and you just write them all out like that. I'm not teaching resume right now, okay? So some other time we'll talk about resume. like that. So you want to highlight your transferable skills, right? And then another way to do this for those of you who are transitioning into Scrum for the first time, and some of you, my child is crying. She stopped. Some of you are asking, but how do I change my nursing to suit Scrum? It's easy. It's easy. I don't know, some of these coaches out here will not give you some of these simple things. You can actually change your nursing experience to match that of Scrum. Let's say, for example, nurses, they do stand-ups. When I was a nurse, we did stand-ups. We met in the morning. That is stand-up. We met in the morning and we agreed. In that urology where I was, I'll talk about my last experience as a nurse, actually. In that, because I worked at the family practice, internal medicine, and then I ended up at the urology, where I was not finding the comfort that I needed in a career. The passion was not there. I was in it for the money. So, and also to help people, but that zeal, that drive was not in me. So in the morning when we meet there, I was like, how can I put it? I was overseeing all the other nurses because I was the only one that did not have a doctor. I was seeing my own patients like that in that urology. The three medical assistant and another RN that was there, they each had their doctors that they were seeing, right? And I had my own schedule. I would see patient and I would determine if that patient needs to see a doctor or not. Sometimes the patient will call in and say, hey, I am suspecting I have a UTI or stuff like this. I will tell them, come and let me do a test on you. When they come, we do a urinalysis, and then I do a bladder scan, and then I send all the information, the result to the doctor, and then ask the doctor what should be done. Do you think you want this person on your schedule or whatever doctor is available, or if that patient was a doctor's patient, and then I ask them information like that. These are some of the skills that you can sing, you can make it sing in, you can put it in line with your Scrum Master skills. This is me facilitating as a nurse. When you guys meet during that morning to talk, that is daily planning. You're planning who is running this this. You're looking at the doctor's schedule and you're checking who is coming in today to see the doctor. What for? Is it checkup? Have they complained about UTI? Have they been to an emergency? All of that. Sorry, I'm trying to mute. Thank you. So all of that, you can actually make any work that you're doing be in sync with the Scrum Master role. Facilitating. Talk about the time that you facilitated an event in your clinic when you were working. Talk about the time you coordinated. Talk about the time you use transparency. Talk about the time you use inspection. These are some of the keywords that you can put on your resume that will attract the hiring manager to say, yes, these are Scrum skills. It may not have been called Scrum at that time, right, when you were doing it. But looking at it from a Scrum eye, you will see that it's Scrum that you were doing. Just find these keywords and put them in your resume and make your resume acceptable before whoever or whomever is going to read it. Then you have to also emphasize on your education, right? Make sure that you write your education, what degree you have, and if you are not going to be telling the truth about the degree you have, most at times they always check to make sure that you actually graduated from that university. But then again, there are some people like myself who choose the option for the university not to disclose our certification or certificate without asking us, without our permission. Somebody like me, I took that option. Nobody can just call my university and say, I want to know if this person graduated. Yeah, my school is going to ask me if they should let that person have that information, right? And then it also depends to who is asking. Okay, so you want to emphasize on your education. Make sure that your education is in line with that role that you're applying for. If it's not in line, then your certification should be the next thing that should be in line with that role that you're applying for. Okay, so we have talked about, and then you build your experience. I just talked about the experience before. Build your experience by talk about maybe if you are new, like let's say you are applying for an entry-level position, you can talk about a time when you volunteer in doing Scrum work. Yes, you can make a whole experience. You say volunteer here, and that experience you're talking about the Scrum things that you were doing, right? You can talk about even when you volunteer, let's say even in church for an event in church, you are facilitating that event. You're making sure that everyone is moving from one place to another. You're talking, hey, I met with the pastor, and let's say the pastor and the song leader or the music teacher and myself were working on a team, and the team was all about this. You must not put what everybody's putting in their resume as Scrum, like real Scrum experience, but you can use Scrum words in your resume, even though that experience is just a volunteering experience. It can sell you even more than somebody would like, because once that person is reading, once that recruiter is reading through your resume, they are seeing those Scrum words that you are using. This person volunteered for, let's say, a youth event that was happening in their church, and then you are bringing in the Scrum world and saying for that event to have been successful, you had to meet with the pastor. The pastor now is like maybe the product owner, and you had to meet with this person so that you collaborate together to see how you can drive that, carry out that program from start to finish. And then the next one, you can talk about how you motivated the youths that came for that event. And everyone, you can even make up things to add to it that will really captivate the heart of the person that is reading it, to say that this person is a natural Scrum servant leader, and make sure that you continue to sell yourself as a servant leader, right? You talk about a time when two of the youths, that's how you even solve conflict. So you can even talk about, you say there was a time where two of the youths were having issues with each other, but because you were in charge of handling that situation, this is what you did, this is what you did, this is what you did. You talk like that, you are selling yourself under your experience as volunteering. It will sell you more than that person who has put a fake experience, right? Yes, it will. It will sell you more than that person who has put that fake experience. Then the next thing that you want to put will be to build your network. Who are the people that you're following on social media? Are they in Scrum? Hi, Anna, welcome there. Are they in Scrum? Are they Scrum Masters? Are they in the Agile world, IT world? Make sure that the people that you are following, right? That's your network. You want to follow other Scrum Masters. You want to follow Scrum organizations. I am following Scrum.org. I'm following Scrum Alliance. There's another one. Is it Scrum Quiz or something? I'm also following them. There's another one. Join all these Scrum groups if you can join them on LinkedIn. It will sell you even more. I think I'm on about 10 of these different groups on LinkedIn. Find them and join and ask for membership and be a part of it. And then to those of you who are even you can even include some of these things during your interview. There's an interview that I made and I talked about Scrum, why Scrum Queens. And the interview was, he paused for a bit to go check it out. And I said, no, you cannot see it because it's a private group. We have to accept your membership and you have to be a woman. He was like, oh no. Now I have to tell my wife to join so that I can spy, so I can get to look at it. You know, they are even, you can even talk during your conversation because they can ask you a question. So how are you staying current in the Scrum world? And you sell yourself within seconds and they give you that job. I am a member of this organization. There's an interview, they asked me that question. I said, I am a registered member with Scrum Alliance, and from time to time, I get newsletters with regards to different free classes and courses that are going on, and I sign up for them, 1 hour Zoom, 2 hour Zoom, here and there, and I stay current. And then I say, apart from that, I also help to coach people daily with Scrum and answer Scrum questions if I can, and if I cannot, I tell them that I'll get back to them as soon as I can. You know, you can also say, I am a member of Women in Scrum Empowerment, a group on Facebook where we empower ourselves as women who are in the agile world. We answer questions about Scrum. I have answered a couple of questions that have been posted there. Even if you have not done that, but you are selling yourself, because guess what? They will Google it. And then when they Google, they see that, oh, it's an active group. It has 1,600 members. They'll be like, oh, this person is serious. You know, because it's not fake. You're not lying. You're talking based on fact, because Scrum is what? Based on imperialism, right? So you want to sell yourself, or you want to prepare for the battle that is ahead. Your resume prepares you for that. Build your network. Get connected to other Scrum Masters. Be friends with other Scrum Masters. Join all the Scrum Master groups that you know that you can join, right? No matter what it takes, if you are able, if there are some, there's one that they asked me to pay, I think to be a part of it, you have to pay $1,000 to be a part of that group, right? And I've told them I'm not gotten to that level yet. When I get to that level, I'll definitely join them. I'm saving up for that because it's a powerful Scrum group, right? So if you are able to empower yourself the best way you know how to stand out, you can do that, because guess what? It is definitely gonna help you. It's definitely gonna help you when you are selling yourself during an interview. When you're talking about yourself and selling yourself, you know, they are listening to some of these things, right? Also, another way of building your network is to attend events like you are attending this one. Tomorrow you could have an interview maybe on Monday, and the interviewer, I had an interview too where the interviewer said, how was your Sunday? And I thought I was teaching. He said, teaching what? Before we knew it, we have taken already 5 minutes from that interview like that. And then he ended up asking me 3 questions. And then after the interview, like I'll say not up to 20 minutes after the interview, he moved me to the next level. You can say there are so many things. You don't know who you will meet on your interview. They ask you, how was your day? And you know, some interviewers are really friendly. Some are they just want to go straight to the point, right? And then you have an opportunity to talk about how your Sunday was. You say, I spent Sunday in a Zoom Scrum class where we were talking about Scrum. We were discussing about Scrum. And then at this point, you can talk about the thing that you know most about Scrum. That was what you guys discussed on. That is if you forgot to remember. That is if you did not or cannot remember what was discussed during the meeting. You can even say that. You talk about, maybe if you know more about retrospective, you talk about more about retrospective. You selling yourself. That's an opportunity for you to sell yourself. Avery, what are you doing there? I can hear you. And then another thing would be to take courses that will add to your skills or build your skills, right? You want to take, for example, so many people have asked me, Mimi, can you help me, because I have project management and I'm considering Scrum and I don't know if I should do Scrum or I should do product owner or I should do developer. I'm confused. Can you help me? Right? Another one will say, Mimi, I am in Scrum. I don't know which direction to take, what certifications to add to the one I already have that will make me stand out. What I always say is research, 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 research. Take a week just for research. Say, I'm going to use this 7 days. Put it on your calendar. Take your phone, put it on your calendar. That's what I do. I put it on my phone as a reminder. From time to time, my phone alarm always goes off and I'll check to see what it is reminding me about, right? Just search on the internet, right? Those certificates that companies, for example, you can do a search on the internet. What certifications aligns with a Scrum Master responsibility or Scrum Master role. Another thing would be, what is your 5-year goal from now as a Scrum Master? Do you want to continue as a Scrum Master? Do you want to teach Scrum? Do you want to Do you want to become a product owner as alongside? You want to have cross-functional skills? Do you want to be a developer as a Scrum Master, developer, product owner, developer? What is that thing that you want to do, right? So you want to add your skills. You want to make sure that the new certificate that you're adding to your Scrum Master certificate is in line with what companies are looking for. For example, the SAFE certificate, right? For project managers. Just yesterday, I was thinking that I am not going to be taking the PMP, but my husband is telling me that I need a PMP because guess what? The reason why I was saying that I'm not taking PMP is because I have a diploma in project management. And I was thinking that the diploma is higher than the PMP. And my husband said, even though you still have to take it because they want to see companies. And I have to listen to him because he is recruiting and he's been in the job world longer than myself, right? Or the IT world longer than all his life. He's been an IT person. So I have to listen, right? So I'm like, but I did not think that I needed PMP because I have a diploma in project management and, and he's like, no, you have to take it to put it on your certificate so that when companies see it, they will know that you have the PMP. And they will look past the diploma and they will look for the PMP because that's what most companies are looking for. So it's the same thing you want to do. If you want to get that Scrum job, you have to try to get 1 or 2 certifications that aligns with Scrum. SAFE does. Me, I got Jira because I know that is one tool that most companies now use, right? Apart from Kanban and all the other things, Jira. I got it. I went to I did it online with the University of Alasan University, their Jira course. That's what I took. And I got the certificate with them, right? You want to research and say, okay, all right, all the companies now are looking for a Scrum Master who has a SAFE experience, or a Scrum Master who has a project management experience. Then you look at your background. You say, but where this is my background, business administration, where am I heading? At first, I was thinking that I'm going to become an enterprise coach, right? That's where I was looking into, right? But after getting into Scrum, or while I'm in Scrum, I'm beginning to realize that I'm more of project management. I'm beginning to understand that I'm heading more towards the administrative part of it, right? So I'm like, you know what? I think project management aligns with me more. I can be a Scrum Master / a project manager, like that. So you want to get certificates or do courses that aligns with your certificate. If you're a Scrum Master, you can do SAFE and add to it. Another person did Scrum Master, and she was asking me about why do I always forget these people? These people, their job. It starts with S too. No, it's not SAFE, but I think by the end of this class I'll remember it. And she was asking me if she can take that certificate, and I was like, sure, why not? So she took it and she said, now I have Scrum and I have that certificate. But guess what? She's like, if I knew, I would have taken SAFE because I've seen that more. SAFE aligns more with Scrum, and most companies are looking for SAFE Scrum Master, like that. Some are looking for Scrum Master / project manager, like that. It depends. They're just looking for technical skills that you may have in the different backgrounds that you have, right? So you want to keep in mind all of this following to get that Scrum job that you need, and then evaluate yourself. Not do pass yourself. To those of you who don't understand what I just said in Pidgin, like I told you before, Pidgin is my mother's tongue and is my best and favorite language. That's what I know. All the other 5 languages, including English, is borrowed to me. Okay. No, do pass yourself, meaning don't go and do more than don't bite more than you can chew. Yes. Don't slap 10 years on your resume and then during the interview, instead of being relaxed, you're tense. You don't know, you're sweating. You don't know who is going to help you during that interview. And then they ask you questions and you cannot answer. I have a funny story that I've told, though I'm sure Anna can testify that I've told her this, I've told she and the other, and Monica and some other ladies too, that I have coached this particular experience that I had where I froze. I pretended like I could be talking to you here. They asked me a question. I just sat like this. I sat, they spoke the whole time. I did not answer, and that interview ended. That's because I did not know what to say. That's because my resume was showing 10 years experience and I could not defend it. And they asked me a very technical question that at 10 years experience, you don't even need to babble. You just have to answer it even before they finish the word. You are just supposed to take it over from them. And I stammered and stammered. I realized that if I don't answer this thing right, it will throw me under the bus. So guess what? I just pretended that my network is bad. Thank God there's no fun to be spinning around. I just froze there. They spoke, did everything. I was not moving. I was not blinking. I was not shaking. Finally, the interview ended. So I don't want you to go and freeze like me. Okay? So be able to defend yourself. Defend yourself. Make sure that what is on your resume matches what your mouth will speak of. Don't carry somebody's resume and do photocopy and paste. And then at the end of the day, you don't even understand what SD, social life development circle is. You don't understand some of these. You see save 1, save 2 on it. You don't even understand, right? So you want to make sure that you are able to defend. Yes, it's good to borrow somebody's resume, but when you do that, edit it to match your personality. Put what you know that you'll be able to sit there and defend it, and remove those words that you know that they will ask you, those technicalities that they will ask you that you don't have experience about. Take them off your resume and just focus on only what you can talk about and sell yourself more. Okay? So that's all that I had for us today with how to have a Scrum job with no experience. I'll upload this video on my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know, is go to Mimi. You can watch it there and learn if you join late and learn the other points that I gave from the top. But remember that the ball is in your court. It begins with your resume. It begins with your certificate, your resume, getting your certification, your resume, and then you doing job targeting. Make sure that you want to target jobs that are within your strength, jobs that you can do. Start from that entry-level positions and work your way up. You will make that 6 figure in less than 3 years. You will do it. Even that same company that the thing is, you want to have that experience, right? And because you want to have that experience, what happens is that you don't want to put 10 years experience when you don't have that 10 years experience. Like I keep saying, that was the mistake I did, but I corrected it as soon as possible, right? So you want to start small and grow your way up, right? Start very small and grow your way up. Make your resume your own. If you were doing nursing position, you can still leave that nursing, but you can still say RN, let's say RN Hope Hospital, wherever the location is, right? But you put your job specifications or your job description to match Scrum rules, because they are definitely RN rules that match Scrum rules. They are definitely nursing rules that match Scrum rules. Most companies would always do a daily stand-up. Most companies would always do like reviews. That's part of Scrum. Most companies would do like planning. What is the plan? What is our goal? What are we achieving? And all of that. You are bringing all those words and you're using patient because you're in a hospital so that it matches the background where you are, the environment rather, it matches the environment. You're using patients, you're using doctor, you're using clients, you're using customers, you're using teams, and all of that is still under your nursing field, but you are not written there as Scrum Master at a general hospital, say General Hospital, Maryland, for example, right? You have not written Scrum Master, you have written RN there, but your role that you did, it matches the description. And then in your highlight or your summary, remember that your summary sells you even before they go take a look at your experience. I wanted to speak in pidgin. Now your summary sell you. Your summary sells you because once a recruiter reads your summary, right, it tells them what to look for down in your resume. So you can be saying that in your summary, for example, I know that I bring out really good, powerful summaries. Like, let's say for right now, if you're a nurse that you're transitioning into Scrum, you can say ambitious, enthusiastic nurse, transitioning into the Scrum field. Help me mute yourself, dear, so that we all mommies here will not feel bad that baby's crying. What? Where's daddy? Go and tell daddy or sister to help you. Thank you. She needs to use the restroom. It is me she's calling, and she has mommy, she has daddy and sister. It's me she's calling. So you want to, what was I even saying before Avery called me? Anyway, you want to make your resume match who you are. Okay, if you've been an RN in a hospital, go ahead and say that you were an RN in a hospital. In your summary, you sell yourself in your summary, and then you talk about transitioning, that you have found your passion in Scrum. That's how you can link it, sell yourself. You have found yourself, your passion. Somebody taking your resume, for example, ambitious, enthusiastic, or nurse, with 3 years experience coaching nurses, attending to patients, facilitating hospital events. These are Scrum works, but many of us don't know that. We only want our resume to look like A's resume or B's resume. Nurse, coaching, facilitating, helping patients. These are the things that they are looking for, that you have to feed in your resume to make it look attractive and interesting, and making that person say, oh, she transitioned. Let's see the skills below, what she has to offer. And then your highlights now under leadership. I wish I could share my resume, but anyways, I have to share my resume with those that I'm mentoring on Tuesday. Let them see how my resume looks for you. And under your highlights now, you've written leadership. You talk about a time when you were leading, and you're using some of those words. You can say there was a meeting that was gonna run for 30 minutes, and you made sure that that meeting was held at the start time and finished within the start time. These are Scrum words that they are looking for. You go inside their job description, and you pick out those words in their job description that aligns with the skills that you perform in that hospital, and you feed it there, and you get that job. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. For those of you who have been long in the market wondering what is going on, if you have been, say, a business administrator person, go back now and rework on your resume. I do resume editing at a very small field. If you come to me through any of the sites like here, and you say I Zoom or Facebook or YouTube, there's a discount that I give you. There's a discount that I give you, right? Instead of the